I'm going to come right out and say it. I truly believe that this Buffalo Sabres situation is the worst in professional sports. You've got over a decade of missed playoffs, seasons of tanking. You've got fans who are beyond angry. You can't even sell out your building when it's like 1,000 seats available. Can't even sell that out. Dude, so much stuff. And now, not only does your biggest star you've had in decades want to leave in Jack Eichel, but apparently Reinhart wants out, and Rasmus Ristolainen, your first or second best defenseman, depending where you stand on Dahlin. He also wants to leave too. So a total dumpster fire. And that term gets thrown around real loosely in the NHL. As soon as a team goes on a little losing streak, oh, they're a dumpster fire. No. This is a dumpster fire, and a real one at that. And I feel for the Buffalo Sabres, especially even the Taylor Hall thing, right? Everything he's been saying since he's been out of there. It's just so rough, and it's going to be so rough to build this thing back up. And there's talk of another rebuild, even though they've been rebuilding for 10 years now. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. I don't know what's happening in Buffalo, but, I mean, do you keep any of these three guys? I mean, Eichel, I would be shocked to see him again in a Buffalo Sabres uniform. I think he's as good as gone, but they're going to wait for the right opportunity to trade him. But if you bring him back, dude, that's going to be an absolute circus that you want no part of if you're Buffalo. But take a look at Joe Sakic, okay? Joe Sakic had an asset that was unhappy in Matt Duchene. And Matt Duchene, what did he do? He was so upset coming to training camp that year, but he had to play, I think it was 9 games with Colorado, and boom, traded by Sakic. Because Sakic waited for the right opportunity, he got a king's ransom for Duchene. Is that what you do with Eichel? I mean, do you bite the bullet and invite the circus in? But same thing with Reinhart and ristolainen. Do you have a three-way circus? I mean, Ristolainen, he asked for a trade a while ago. I think it's been over a year, right, since he's wanted out of Buffalo. So him, I mean, I could see him coming back there. Reinhart, I think that's another one too. You got to move him, and he's worth a lot. He just had a great season without Jack Eichel. He was like the alpha dog in Buffalo this past season, putting up the biggest amount of points and stuff. So that's a guy that I think he's gone this offseason for sure. Eichel, if not in the offseason, early into next season, I think he's going to get traded. And Ristolainen, that's one of those ones where could happen tomorrow, could happen in 2 years. You know what I mean? And yes, when I say tomorrow, I don't actually mean tomorrow because they can't trade right now. I mean like tomorrow, as that's just like a figure of speech. But if you're the Buffalo Sabres right now, I think their plan is they're going to try to blow this thing up. They're going to build the team around a few guys. Rasmus Dahlin, Dylan Cousins, Casey Middlestat. Those are your new cornerstone pieces, and whatever you get back for those three guys, the Ristolainen, Reinhart, and Eichel trio, okay? And take it from a Flames fan who's been down this road before, down the road of, okay, we need to blow it up. And I'll give you 3 names. Jarome Iginla, Jay Bouwmeester, and Mika Kiprusoff in 2013. Those were the big names, like, okay, blow this thing up, get a good amount of assets for those 3 guys, and you can rebuild with what you get from that. Well, guess what, dude? Those 3 guys gave us absolutely nothing. We would have been better off selling them off for a couple of peanuts, man. Seriously, Jerome, Jay, and Mika, they got us diddly squat, okay? And I'm still mad about it. I haven't gotten over it, seriously. The Flames, I think they would be better if they would have hit on those 3 trades. So that's why this is such a slippery slope, but a necessary one. You have to look and try to get as much for these guys as possible, and it's tough, okay? It's not easy. That's why a lot of times when a team is forced into a corner having to trade a superstar, let alone 3, and I mean, we'll say 2. I don't really think Ristolainen is a superstar. It's tough. It's really not going to be easy for them. And it depends where you want to go. Because if you go the prospect pick route, you could very easily end up with misses. Like their Jarome Iginla trade. They traded him for Kenny Agostino, Ben Hanowski, and a first-round pick that ended up being Morgan Klimchuk. No, you've never heard of those guys. And for good reason. Because we absolutely flubbed that trade, right? So that's the danger there. But if you get an established NHL player, you're not going to get somebody on Jack Eichel's level, or even Sam Reinhart, to be honest with you. You're going to get somebody who's probably serviceable or good, but not on the same level as the guy that's going the other way in the trade, okay? So that's why it's really tough, but it is possible. Take a look at the Erik Karlsson trade. Ottawa did so well there, okay? I mean, Tim Stützle, but that was, of course, a really lucky one. They got Tim Stützle in the draft because of that trade. Josh Norris is a great player they got as well from that trade. So it can happen, but you got to be really careful when you do it. And I'm going to be fascinated, man. I mean, Buffalo, they went from being maybe the most unwatchable team this season on the ice to now, the offseason, all I'm going to be doing is watching the Buffalo Sabres, seeing what they're going to be doing. It's going to be incredibly interesting. Let me know what you guys think. Give me some mock trades down there for Ristolainen, for Reinhart, for Eichel. And who would you build your team around if you're Buffalo? I gave you those three names, right? Cousins, Middlestat, and Dahlin. What do you got for me? Let me know. For more daily hockey content, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.